Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on, and how y'all doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and this is my review of this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the January 8th, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw, and it took place in Portland, Oregon, out on the West Coast, which that's where I will be, of course, next week when I go to Las Vegas for work, for a trade show. I'm going to come up here and pay the bills and review Raw. Another good show. I remember last week I thought it lacked a little bit of direction last week, I thought. I mean, it was still good, but I think it wasn't as good as I thought it would be. Besides, of course, The Rock showing up, which is always awesome. This week, though, we had some good stuff. From the opening promo to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. The stuff with Nakamura and Cody wasn't bad. Surprisingly, one of the better things on the show was also Ludwig Kaiser and Kofi Kingston. They're showing a little bit of faith in Ludwig, it looks like. I feel like that they have some bigger plans for him besides being in Imperium at some point. Which, you know, could very well be a thing, could not be a thing. We'll have to wait and see. Although they did announce that the Ring General Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, will be back next week. And of course, also, you gotta give some love to R-Truth. And this segment basically praising the Judgment Day. Still believing he is in the Judgment Day. Live, laugh, love, whatever the heck the slogan is apparently for the Judgment Day, which was absolutely hilarious. R-Truth again is just a hidden treasure. Oh, and also, guess who's going to be getting a world title shot here soon? The modern day Maharaja! Because you got the crap beat out of him by The Rock. And has done nothing since. Well, in the past year or so, besides get beat up by The Rock and have a segment with The Rock. It'll pass. It'll pass. But, let's talk about, I'm going to get right into the show. We opened up the show with Drew McIntyre coming out. Well, he's already in the ring. It opened up with seeing Cody Rhodes walking backstage. He was getting ready for his second match with Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event. So Drew comes out, and this is, of course, fallout from whenever he lost his match to Seth Rollins for the world title last week on Raw. He comes out and says he needed the world title, but as you see, he didn't win it. He explains how he feels. He says maybe, and basically how he cost himself the match. And he has no one else to blame but himself. Seth and Sammy are right. And he's the only one holding him down. And if that's the case, he feels he may need to step away from WWE for a while to get his priorities right. Which, of course, is, again, another hint. Is Drew McIntyre, in fact, leaving the company when his contract expires in a few months? I'm really starting to think he might be. But anyways, he said he keeps thinking of the match over and over in his head, deciding that's not true after all. It's all Damian Priest's fault, though, he said, from last week. Because he tried to cash in during the match. And he starts ranting about how maybe he should leave so we can all chant his name during matches. Referring to, of course, a certain straight edge hero, which, speaking of which, here he comes. CM Punk did come out during this promo. Obviously, storyline-wise, there is some tension between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, as obviously it's pretty apparent to me that it's most likely that CM Punk could have maybe put a fork in Drew McIntyre's plans with him returning. But anyways, Punk comes out, puts over Roddy Piper, goes, we're in Piper country, and he's a little disappointed that Drew didn't wear the kilt. But then people might like him. Piper was known for talking. Punk is known for talking, but not so much Drew. And yet all Drew's do lately is talk. And since Punk heard his name and stands here, he can say whatever he wants to his face. And CM Punk just gets on the rope and starts lounging, waiting for a response from McIntyre. And of course the crowd starts chanting for him. So Drew says, if the floor is his, he wants to first congratulate Punk, saying it's been a month and you're still here, which gives Punk a chuckle. Some of the guys and him have a bet going when he'll crash and burn and self-destruct. Once again, an AEW reference. And he's starting to cost people money. He doesn't care what CM Punk said outside the company. He gets it. What he cares about, though, is what he does personally. He mentions how he was one of the few people on the roster who traveled with him for years, who knows what the real CM Punk is like. And he's asked if he remembered when he was champion, and referred to himself as a locker room leader. Back then, though, Drew actually needed a leader, but he didn't have it back then. He was just a kid. He lost his mom, his career fell off, and he could have done with a leader to tell him it's okay to navigate him to the place, but Punk saw him as a threat instead. Punk doesn't have any demons because he's straight edge. He is the demon. A narcissistic succubus, or whatever the heck it is. But he starts, ranting on Punk. And then he claims now McIntyre believes he should be the leader. Punk says, yo, if you need a leader, you can shave my head and pledge to the straight edge society right now. Nice throwback there. But he talks about how he left and saw Drew come back and decided that Punk wanted to follow the path McIntyre set. And now he's upset about it like Seth Rollins is. As far as being a demon, Punk ain't no demon. When pushed, he can be Satan himself. And if you're one of the people that saw that side of him, it says way more about him than it does Punk, who is a real nice guy until it's time not to be. And it's getting to be that time. He's not here to be nice. He's not here to make friends. He's here to win the Royal Rumble, and he's here to main event WrestleMania. Drew says his own title reigns weren't for himself. It was about stepping up during the pandemic. And this time he's entering the Royal Rumble, and he'll take out Punk, he'll win the Rumble, and he'll main event WrestleMania. But this time, it's not going to be for the fans. It's going to be for himself. And Punk gets up in his face and says, it's getting spicy in here, so I'm going to lead by example and walk away before he knocks Drew's teeth out. The only person who can stop him is himself. And he got out of his way a long time ago. Not McIntyre, not Rollins, not Cody Rhodes. None of them can stop him from winning the Royal Rumble. And since Punk believes he's a nice guy, he'll wait till McIntyre, it's just him and McIntyre, and throw him out last. Very good opening promo for sure. Again, like what really is great about this Drew McIntyre character, the fact that even though he's a heel again, he continues to be very well justified. Like, he has so much truth to his promos, his opportunities, and everything else that's happened to him, he has every right to be upset. And of course, he was right to acknowledge that it was his. Well, he says it was his fault last week for not winning because he accidentally had Seth's foot too close to the rope. What else was I gonna say here? He has foot too close to the rope, and but he also is putting some blame on Damian Priest for attempting to cash in. And then there's Punk, which I still love that, even though, of course, myself personally, I'm happy that Punk is back. But I do know that he does kind of have some explaining to do still, as far as, like, why all of a sudden are you very grateful for the WWE, when just a few years ago, for a while, you were trashing it. It could be just a story of, like, seeing what happened in the AEW locker room. That could have very well, made him realize, it wasn't as bad as it was, and, talk things out. And maybe he is a changed man. I just like how the story feels like that Punk has something to prove. And we're all behind it. And, but yeah, like, if they want to set up, like, a storyline, like, within the Royal Rumble match, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk is definitely a great storyline. I think at some point, though, if Punk does win the world title from Rollins at Mania this year, at some point we probably will get Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. That, of course, if Drew does stay. Because like I said, if Drew stays, I give him Money in the Bank this year. That's who I go with. And this character he has now is going to continue to evolve. I think he needs to win Mr. Money in the Bank. But we will see. We will see. We have a match with Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa. Match wasn't too bad. Tommaso Ciampa gets the win. Now, of course, there's some buzz about DIY getting a title shot. I don't know about you, but I don't think DIY is quite ready yet. I said it out of respect because, I love DIY. Huge fans of theirs for sure. It's just that on the main roster, they haven't been able to give off that energy yet, the same energy that they gave in NXT. So I'm not gonna get completely excited about them, but obviously they're probably set up for a title match, maybe at Rumble. I'd wait till WrestleMania. But of course, DIY being underdog tag team, you could do something where they have one match and they lose, and then a few months later they do win the tag titles. I feel like that is the long-term plan for sure. Triple H wants to do is get the tag titles on DIY. It's just still going to take me a bit, in my opinion, to believe that they have the momentum behind them right now to get the job done, to do it yourself, to DIY. But, of course, there's that for another day. Becky Lynch did an interview backstage about her loss to Nia Jax. She says before the match, Nia told her to imagine the full weight behind the punch, and she did. And she remembered breaking bones and being hospitalized. But then she put her full weight behind that punch, and yes, she fell and lost. But then she got up, walked to the back, and declared for the Royal Rumble. And she's already way ahead of the last time. And last time she won the Rumble and main evented WrestleMania. So either Nia is weaker or Becky is stronger. And this is just the beginning. Both women, though, of course, are now being in the Women's Rumble match. I'm pretty sure both women will get towards the end of the match. We have this match between Kofi Kingston and Ludwig Kaiser. I think the match itself was good. But what people are going to talk about is what happened after. Some storytelling and some development. Last week, New Day gave Giovanni Vinci a concussion. And then, of course, this match is a little bit of kind of like a grudge or a revenge match for Ludwig fighting for Giovanni. So it was kind of a thing where I think what was more special was not special, shouldn't say special, but what was more brutal was the post match. Kofi Kingston continued the brawl with Ludwig Kaiser, but then things change when Ludwig throws a chair into Kofi's face and knocks Kofi out cold. And then he basically just destroyed him. So much so that Michael Cole's like, stop it, not enough, that's enough, it's too much. And I believe he even did a running drop kick into the steel steps as well on the Kofi's face. Ugh. And then when he was interviewed backstage, Ludwig said he blows his top and asked what we want from him. It's not his fault. It's Kofi's fault because he had it coming and he is carrying the whole weight of Imperium around right now. Because again, Gunther's been gone for a few weeks, which probably was because that his wife, former WWE superstar Ginny, who I definitely wish would have had a shot on the main roster, they just had their first child. Congratulations. But he will be back next week. When Giovanni's going to be back, I don't know because he has his concussion. But that was some good character development there. They obviously seem like they do have some eventual plans for Ludwig as a single star. I wouldn't say not quite yet, but we'll see. But it's a nice, interesting little story. For sure to hear people talking. Nia Jax is being interviewed, just bragging about how she beat Becky. She's going to be in a Royal Rumble. Rhea Ripley came out. Basically, they had a back and forth segment where Nia's teasing an eventual match with Rhea. A lot of people are saying that should happen at Chamber, which I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize what my phone was saying. Anyways, though, but I think this is going to be a match at Chamber because even though they're both heels, Rhea will definitely be a babyface in Australia because I believe she's from New Zealand, I believe it is. So that's kind of like a hometown welcome. So that's kind of why she's kind of like been both like a borderline babyface lately. Especially again, if she's going to, well, first off, Rhea's awesome. People do like her despite being a heel. But I do think she will be a babyface for sure. Well, if she has a match at Nia, which will probably be in Australia. Please don't do that WrestleMania. Please don't do WrestleMania again. Do Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania. Although, again, I still don't think Becky should be the one to dethrone Rhea. Who, though? I don't know. Still going to be a bit. But I think, not Becky. I think Rhea will be champion, though, past WrestleMania. We had Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura brawling backstage after Cody was trying to be interviewed, which turned their main event match into a street fight. Cool. Kayden Carter and Katana Chance beat Chelsea Green and Piper Niven to retain the women's tag titles in a solid match. There was a spot at the end where apparently Piper Niven didn't realize that they moved Chelsea Green in place of whichever one of the women's tag champs she was trying to do her crossbody thing onto, and she accidentally did it to her tag partner Chelsea Green. Okay then. Well, Kayden and Katana do win. Not bad. Okay. Let's talk about this. So we get this video packages of R-Truth talking about the Judgment Day, saying when he was born, he told the doctor that he was going to be in Judgment Day someday. Yeah, didn't even know it was going to exist. And also, I'm pretty sure everybody else who was in the Judgment Day didn't even exist back then either. The actual Judgment Day are backstage, and JD gets mad and says that R-Truth because he's a little nerd. He basically was like the opposite of like all of these like photoshopped in things. He said like live, laugh, love is what the Judgment Day does. Like it was obviously the complete opposite of whatever of what they really are. But it was still, I thought, hilarious the way they did that. Again, R-Truth's just like a hidden gem for sure. But of course, some are Judgment Day are laughing, some are not because again, you know what it does. Damian Priest tells JD to cool it and admits that the video package was funny before saying he's going to handle R-Truth. And then when it comes to DIY, Finn Balor says they'll need CPR, MRIs, and EMTs when he's done. And then Priest says that Drew can't be his enemy because he's too much of a joke and warns Rhea to handle Nia. Rhea tells JD to take care of The Miz, and he says he won't know what hit him, which Miz then does beat JD in the match, and R-Truth, I guess, helped The Miz win, even though he still claims he's part of Judgment Day, but, you know, he ain't. Ah, man. Let's talk about this. So Seth Rollins comes out. Obviously, Drew's in his rearview mirror at this point. But he comes out and says his WrestleMania record's been pretty good. But he's never taken a world title, though, into WrestleMania. And he said he was going to be a fighting champion. A workhorse champion. And the work is not done. So who is he going to beat at WrestleMania? And then out comes Jinder Mahal. He asked how it was last week. In 5 minutes, he was more of a revolutionary than Seth Rollins has been in the entire time, and that he called himself that. He accused Seth of pushing an agenda or degeneracy and complains that he's never given Jinder Mahal a title shot. Like, Jinder, you haven't been on TV. And Rollins, mate, you're right. We have been overlooking Jinder. But it wasn't an accident, because who remembers Jinder Mahal? And who even wants to remember his title run? They've been doing it on purpose, and it lasted when The Rock showed up and put his balls in a vase. He got to admit, though, he admires Jinder for showing back up after The Rock humbled him. But you don't respect Jinder, ruining the party and getting his face. So yeah, he has his attention, and he's sick of being overlooked. He can take a swing. Jinder refuses. Seth then says he suspected as much and turns to leave. And then Jinder attacks him, but Rollins gets out of it and goes for the stomp, and Jinder just runs away. We're really going to do Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal at the Royal Rumble? Really? Because he had a great segment with The Rock last week, yet everything else he does sucks! And sounds like an idiot because, again, we all did forget about him. We don't even want to remember him. Whatever. The promo was decent, of course, but, you know my opinion. Otis and Ivar had a nice big man match. Spot of the night for sure was when, I think it was Ivar tried to go for a crossbody on Otis, and Otis actually caught him in midair. Again, credit to Ivar again. He has done incredible work as a single star since being given this opportunity to do so. I think he's just been, again, I definitely can take him legit as being gotta hear my mouth, as being a legitimate singles competitor. He's awesome. Afterwards, Akira Tozawa wants next, which I'm like, he already got squashed by him, but I guess he's getting him again at some point soon. Jey Uso was interviewed, but then he got interrupted by Bronson Reed, basically saying, don't get in my way. And Jay's like, whatever. So they're probably going to have a match at some point. And then we had the main event, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes in a street fight. It was solid. A good match. They have okay chemistry. Maybe if it was the old Shinsuke Nakamura from NXT, maybe they'd have a little bit more better matches. But again, I'm just still selling the fact that we're never going to get that level of Nakamura ever again. But it was still good. Cody Rhodes wins, and I guess that does it for that feud. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know what's next for Cody. Again, it's still a big toss-up as to who's going to fight Roman at Mania. I know some people are saying that maybe they'll have Roman fight one of them night one, the other one on night two, but both matches, either Roman and Cody or Rock and Cody, either one of them should be main eventing night two at WrestleMania. One should outshine the other. Of course, they could always have Roman beat The Rock at Mania and then do Cody at SummerSlam, but how much longer are we going to extend this? Can we get this freaking title off of Cody? But just my opinion, and that was Raw. I gave it a B. B for Raw. What are you guys' thoughts on Raw this week? Again, I will probably get a SmackDown review done as well in the next day or so. And then again, no Raw or SmackDown reviews next week as I will be away on a business trip. But I have some stuff again that I'm going to edit while I'm gone. And either we'll upload while I'm away or I'll upload when I get back. Well, let's wait and see. But guys, I'm tired. Check it out. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw? Gave it a B. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe. More content to come to my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. Until guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!